This one. And welcome, everybody. It is Friday night. And as you can probably tell, I have a cold. Hence the questions about the home remedies, right? So it is what it is. The weather finally warmed up. Yay. And I get a cold. But when I talked to the doctor, apparently there is I don't know, what round are we on? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. Um, he's calling it Coco 24. So, uh, who knows? It's a cold. It'll pass. Okay. So bear with the froggy sound. Can't do a whole lot about that. But and if I start getting too tired, we'll just stop this. But I really wanted to see everybody, say hey to everybody, and I think some of you may have colds too. So I thought this might be a helpful topic. Let me know what you're doing to make your colds have to run their course. There's nothing you can do to stop them. Let me know what you're doing to make yourself feel better, right? So Sammy is first on board saying, hey, everyone. Hey, look, the comments are working. Woohoo! I know, small thing to get excited about, right? Roy says, my favorite cold remedy is avoiding people that have a cold. I do not know who I have been around that has had a cold. But I do work in a retail environment, and so I don't know everybody that I've been around. But no one that I know has a cold, so I don't know where it came from. Mookie Mac. My homemade remedy during cold season is to stay away from people that have colds. Yeah. Well, if I could hibernate during the winter, believe me, I would. Because I don't like the cold. Okay? Now, Oklahoma is back up to where it should be for this time of year. It's, I don't even know what the temp is right now. Let's just take a look. I'll tell you. I know it's not cold. I mean, not like it has been. 43 degrees and raining. So, yeah, that's a pretty normal, maybe a little bit above average temperature for January. But 43 is more in line with where we usually are. We don't get a lot of those sub-zero temperatures. So nobody knows how to act. But now that the weather has warmed up, it's prime time to be outside doing stuff, and I have a cold. So go figure. Sammy says, I got a cold too. Well, see, Sammy lives up north where it's cold. Right? He is about halfway, I think, from me to Santa Claus, uh, which is the North Pole. So, uh, but Sammy, listen carefully because you may not know about all these. Mookie Max says, beat me to it. Vitamin C and rest. Well, sometimes there's no rest for the wicked. You know how that saying goes. Uh, and Roy is saying, yeah, Roy is a pain like that. He just types really fast. And Charles is saying, hi, Sly. Charles, you're one of the few that picked up on the fact that that was 35 millimeter. Yes. You know what I'm talking about. And there's Paula. Hello, Sly. I finally got a notification, so here I am. Yes. And I don't know if Pat has told you, but I've got like a major cold thing going on. So I can't really move my head a whole lot because my ears are completely full. I can't hear anything. So if something is wrong with the sound, you guys are going to have to let me know because, yeah, there's fluid in both ears and can't hear anything. And, you know. Charles says it's 82 degrees here in Miami. I would like that, Charles. Yeah, just a little heat wave to kind of take the edge off. But honestly, when I have a cold, I want it to be cold outside. So that's just me. Sammy's laughing. I got it very bad. Had 100.3 fever. Yeah, I ran a fever yesterday. Man, that seems like a long time ago. Um, so for fever, Sammy, this is gonna be like a Dr. Mom show. My daughter actually picked these up for me, and they are fantastic. It's called Be Cool, and it shows a picture of a kid on the front. I don't care. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I'm in my 60s, and I put one of these bad boys on, and man, did it make me feel better. This probably was the game changer of all the medicines I'm on. This was probably the game changer because I was ready in the wee hours of the morning, Thursday morning, to drill 2 holes in my head. It hurt so bad. I was ready to go to the hospital. And anybody that knows me, I avoid doctors, I avoid hospitals like the plague. And this right here was a game changer. So, thank you, daughter. That was a wonderful thing that you did for your mother. Um, that out of everything I'm taking, that right there changed the game. And I would never even think to use those. They are uh, cooling relief from fever discomfort. And let me tell you, they work. I actually went to sleep with one on my forehead, slept for, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours, and woke up and the fever was broke. So, yeah, kudos. Sammy says, I'm better now. Just a little bit. That's kind of how I'm feeling, Sam. Uh, that yesterday was really tough, but the doc said day 3 would be the worst. And I started getting sick Wednesday. So I don't know if day 3 is today or if day 3 is tomorrow. So we're going to say it's today. And today I basically just laid around all day. Have not run a fever today. But if I walk very much or move very much, I get very dizzy because of the ear thing. So Charles says I could tell it was 35 millimeter because of the extensive Fujifilm film simulation usage. It trains the eye to distinguish between different films used by Kodak and Fujifilm. And honestly, when I was shooting film, I preferred Fujifilm over Kodak. Just personal preference. Charles says homemade chicken soup works better than vitamin C. There is something in chicken. I don't know what it is, but there is something in chicken that makes you feel better, right? A friend offered to bring me some chicken and noodles, and she lives about 45 minutes away, so I didn't want to make her drive that far. But there is something in chicken that does kind of make you feel better. And after you've been taking all this medication, after a day or two, it starts messing with your stomach. So my stomach is fine. It's like cast iron. But you put enough of these meds in it, and typically when I'm sick, I don't really have an appetite, which makes it worse. So I haven't hit the bad stomach thing yet because I've intentionally been trying to eat like stuff that'll soak this stuff up. Um, so I've been eating more breads and more, they say do not eat dairy. Dairy makes a cold worse. What is it? Feed a cold, starve a fever, I think. I thought it was feed a fever, starve a cold. I'm not sure how that goes. But Siri says I had some chicken soup and it helps. See? There is something to some of these old wives' tales about chicken. It doesn't have to be in soup, but that's usually the chicken broth. There has to be something in that. So, too true. Roy says Kodak film was warmer than Fujifilm, but I still don't see the point of digital simulated film. Well, yeah, I don't know. Um, I think 35 millimeters almost look warmer than digital, but we're so accustomed now to seeing digital that there's not a lot of 35 millimeters still left going around. I found a whole little bitty scrapbook. It wasn't any bigger than this, with 10 pictures in the whole thing. There must have been like 30 of them. And every one of them is a little 10 picture. Well, obviously, back in the when that was made, that was how pictures were taken. And now, I don't even know a camera that would take a 10 picture. But so that really tells you how old this is. The album itself is completely disintegrating, but the pictures are just pristine. And I have no idea who any of these people are. Apparently, they must be related to me because they were in my mother's attic. So go figure. But uh, Peter says, you guys better stop breathing on me. Come here and let me give you a big fat kiss. That should do it. Sammy says, stuffy nose is the worst of it. Well, when I first started getting sick, I actually thought it was strep throat. And it was so much drainage that your throat doesn't like all that drainage. So, I was talking to a lady at the doctor's office, and she asked, what medications are you on? And I'm like, aspirin, mentholatum, nasal spray, pretty much it. Decongestant, over the counter, pretty much it. And she had never heard of mentholatum. I said, honey, you need to go ask your granny, because mentholatum has been around. I remember my granny using it, right? It's been around for a minute. Charles says, digital simulated film was developed primarily to save you money. Real film has gotten ridiculously expensive. And I heard there was these young people are wanting to go back to 35 millimeter film. I have no idea why. Maybe because they have not been that exposed to it. I think it's kind of nice being able to take a picture and look and see if you want to keep it or trash it. Do I need to retake that? You don't lose near as many shots. You will lose some action shots. You'll lose some of in the moment shots. But the posing shots, you can just stay right there for just another second. Let me check, make sure that's good. Nope, let me take another one. Right? So easy. Roy says, film is for masochists. Too much work for me, right? A little bit of work, yeah. Fine. I'm going to hide under the covers. Get away. Blah. Yes, I know. It's okay. I'll breathe on your blender or something. Charles is saying, Peter, we need a chicken recipe. Chicken soup in the Instapot. This is the time of year, brother. Get with it. That's a great idea, Charles. Peter, you should thank him. That's a great idea, really, because it is Among Us, and apparently this is like version whatever. He's calling it Coco 24. So, but it's just a cold, and there's really nothing you can do for a cold. You just kind of have to ride it out and get as comfortable as you can from the symptoms. So I don't know how to clear the ears, but the pressure up here is gone. So hallelujah, right? Maybe I should put these cool things on my ears. Maybe it'd make my ears feel better. They don't necessarily hurt. They just, when your ears are full of fluid, it affects your equilibrium. So yeah, walking is I'm walking a little funny right now. So if I just stay reasonably seated, and I shouldn't fall out of my chair. my daughter's advice for tonight was don't put everything on the table. Don't have to bend down for anything. Good advice. I might fall out of my chair. And then I'd have to have that little button that you push and says, what does it say? What's your emergency? And you push your little button. I've fallen and I can't get up, honey. I don't really have one of those, but, you know, it's always fun to poke fun until you actually have one. So, Sammy, this is another one. Vicks Vaporizing Rub. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to laugh, and I can already hear you laughing from New Jersey, son. Take some of this and rub it on your feet, and put socks on, and go to sleep. And when you wake up, you're going to be amazed at how good you feel. Don't know what it does, don't know how it works. It's one of life's great mysteries. You can put some on your chest, if that makes you feel better. But put it on your feet and put socks on and put your feet under the covers and go to bed. You'll be amazed. Don't know how, don't know why. Charles says, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Thank you, Charles. I forget every time, right? I always forget to look. So it's all I can do to keep the comments going with little stars by them. And, you know, everybody makes this look so easy. And there's so much to keep track of. Yeah. So this is my arsenal. This is what my belly has to contend with. Now, this is the generic brand, but this is that Mucinex DM. It's supposed to... Now, if you take this... Now, all you guys probably know this, but Sammy, you're kind of young. You might not. If you take this, it works great. Works absolutely wonderful, except apparently not in yours. Be sure and drink plenty of water because it's trying to dry you up. And it will dry you up. So be sure to take plenty of water. Drink plenty of water when you take that. I'm not a big one on eating or drinking when I'm sick. I just kind of like to curl into a ball and hope it passes reasonably quickly. And I wasn't drinking enough water with it. So there are some rules to this being sick and taking medicine that you kind of have to follow. I put some of that Vicks on my chest last time. Next day I had hair on my chest. Well, Sammy, are you worried about hair on your feet? Because honestly, right now I may say that I may completely be singing a different tune come kayaking weather. But right now, a little hair on my feet versus feeling like this, I'd say that's a trade-off. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know about hair on my chest. May not like that so much. But right now it seems like a fair trade-off. You know, just couldn't wear V-necks, I guess. And, oh, here's another thing. So, when I have a headache or I'm not feeling real good, or even if I've just had a really strenuous night at work and I'm a little bit sore, I take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. Okay, right? And this particular doctor doesn't like aspirin. Aspirin works better on me than anything else. And he's like, no, you need to quit taking that. That's hard on your liver, and you need to not be taking that. You can take acetaminophen and ibuprofen and naproxen sodium, and they don't work. Why would I bother? So, but anyway, I have switched over to naproxen sodium because maybe he did go out of his way to let me know he had a medical degree. So maybe he knows what he's talking about. So I did switch. But for Wednesday, Thursday, I was taking aspirin. It wasn't working, just by the way. So just letting y'all know that. Uh, but, what does? Charles says, my mom used to put Vicks on a vaporizer when I was sick. It cleared my sinuses. Yes. So in order to get ready for the show, so and I think I still sound like a frog, ribbity ribbity. Uh, I went and took a steam bath, right? And which really helped clear things up so that I could breathe. I can breathe. Uh, so probably as the night goes on, I'll get congested again. But for that brief period now, I really don't want to be jumping in a steam bath for, 8 times a day. But for that brief time, yeah, I can breathe. So the deal with the throat is you get enough drainage down your throat and it affects your vocal cords. And that's where we're at right now. So I don't feel that bad. And I really, really wanted to see everybody tonight. So, and I thought, everybody has these homemade remedies that have been handed down in their family. And everybody's from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So, even though you're a bunch of guys, I bet you know a home remedy or two that I don't, right? I had a lovely, lovely lady that when I was in my 20s, man, she did everything home remedy, right? She never, ever, ever bought over-the-counter medication. And one of her remedies for fever, and I don't suggest that anybody does this because even I thought this was ludicrous at the time, but it works, is you take fire ants and you put them in a pouch and you sew the pouch shut so they can't get out, and you put a string through the pouch and you tie this around your neck and you go to sleep. When you wake up, the fever's gone and no bites from the fire ants. So I don't know if that works or how it works, but she swore by it. And every time any of the kids, and she had 10 of them, any of the grandkids, and she had, I think, 400 of them, anytime anybody got a fever, they had to wear the fire ants. Yep. Another one she did was my dog. I think he was like 11 years old at the time, got bitten on the shoulder multiple times by I'm assuming it was either a water moccasin or a copperhead, because he was in a culvert that ran under the road, and there apparently was a snake down there that he got in an argument with, and he was in basically a coma, right, when we found him. So beloved pet, had this dog for before I'd had my children, all right, and we took him to the vet immediately. The vet said there really wasn't anything they could do, not knowing what kind of snake it was. And so we took him back home. She advised to put the dog to sleep. Now, I love this dog. He was like my buddy, right? And so I wasn't ready to let go of him. And so I call this lady. And she says, "You got some alum?" "Yes, ma'am." "You got some milk?" "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Give that dog, mix up some alum and milk, and by the dropperfuls in his mouth and make him swallow it." Okay. I thought alum was poisonous. She said, "Do it or not. Depends on if you want to save your dog." "Yes, ma'am." So I immediately mixed up some alum and milk. I mean, the dog was going to die anyway, right? And by the dropperful, I did just what she said. I put his big old head in my lap, and I started giving him dropperfuls of this almond milk and making sure he swallowed it, right? By the next morning, he was awake. Now, he didn't really get up and start eating until that afternoon, but the almond milk pulled him out of his thing, and the vet didn't know what to do. So, some of these home remedy things are better than modern medicine. I'm just saying. Charles, I know you're a doctor, so you're excused. Okay? I know you think this is Indian voodoo, but that's okay. Sammy's saying, what? To what? Oh, the fire ants, right? Yeah, that was kind of my reaction too. Because the first time I saw her do it was on probably a 6 month old, 4, 5, 6 month old little baby. Little baby. And I went in, and all the baby was wearing was a diaper and this necklace with fire ants in it. Now, you couldn't see the fire ants, you could just hear them in there. And when I asked what they were, they told me, and I about fell over. I'm like, you're going to kill that kid. Nope. Baby's fever broke, I think, later that night. So, uh, yeah, unfortunately, she's no longer with us, but she was a very, she wasn't book learned at all, but she was very wise. And she just did things very, very naturally, and she would be appalled at all these medications I'm taking. I'm sure she would have a remedy for the common cold too. But so yeah, sometimes these old people actually really do know what they're talking about. But I just figured since we were all from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, that you guys might have your own things. And I haven't seen Scott in here tonight. Scott put a picture on, where did I see that? Facebook, I think. And he lives in Michigan, folks. It is dead cold in Michigan. He's in a light jacket. He's with his daughter, who is bundled up. So the girl has sense. Scott, however, is in a light jacket. So if he doesn't have a cold, he probably. Now, I know you don't get a cold by being in the cold, or I would have had a cold a month ago, but he's a dead ringer for getting a cold, right? So, Sammy, you and I need to stay away from Scott too. But pretty much, I got some new bags in this week. I was so excited, and I can't make a video because I sound like a frog. Yeah, so there's that. So probably won't have any videos again this week. I think I've missed a couple of weeks now, so I need to get back on the stick, but I don't want to make one sounding like this. I mean, the live stream is one thing, but to make a video, I just don't, I'm not comfortable with that. Thank you. But if it continues on, and somebody said they've had a cough for like 3 weeks, then I'll just have to do a whole lot of editing. But I can't edit out the sound. So if any of you guys know how to make me sound better, that'd be great. Oh, and I don't like honey. So, yeah, occasionally I'll put honey in a hot toddy or something, but I'm not a fan. So, uh, yeah. But if you guys know how to make me sound better, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that little tidbit. Like put I don't know, a dried oak leaf on your throat or something. I don't know. Um, I don't know. That's I'm not being I'm not being facetious. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I am getting a little bit dizzy. So I think we are going to make this a short night. Sammy, I hope you get feeling a lot better. Um, and the the Vicks does work. I don't know what it does. Or so your mom was right, Charles. I hope you still, if you get sick, I hope you still use that. Um, I have heard that zinc and vitamin C, D, zinc, and magnesium are good to up your doses. So I have been trying to do that as well. But I don't know what to do to make me sound better. So, but I do feel like I am starting to get a little warm again. And so we're going to end this while I'm still vertical, right? And I love all of you, and I couldn't go a Friday without seeing you. So um, it's just going to be a shorter one. That's all. Hopefully, I will be well by next week, and we will continue on with, because I do have some new bags. I have some cool stuff that I got in this week, and I really, really, really want to share it with you, but I can't be reaching and moving very much, so it's going to have to wait. So, anyway, I will see you all next Friday, 10:30, and I hope everybody has a fantastic week. Good night, everybody.